On your Thursday episode of Locked On Raptors, we've got a little break between basketball games, which gives us time to reflect upon an extremely weird first 26 games for your Toronto Raptors. It's a little vibe check coming at you with Katie Heindl. Thanks for hanging.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Thursday, December the 11th, and I am your host, Sean Woodley. I've been covering the Toronto Raptors now for 12 seasons on various platforms. You can find all my work over on Blue Sky. You can find the show on Instagram. You can join us in the Locked On Raptors Discord server. Link in the description of the podcast. 100% free to join. We'd love to see you become part our listener community over there, even though I have to delete the thing because the conversation this morning is about trading for LaMelo Ball, and it feels like a Chernobyl-type situation. We just can't post in there for 100,000 years now. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase, and we are off and running here on your Thursday edition of the show. Just taking in a few days off between Raptors games after it seemed like they played every single night for a couple of weeks there. And seems like a perfect time with our feelings correspondent here on the show to check in on our own feelings about the Toronto Raptors and the very up and down roller coaster strange season they have had so far. It's Katie Heindl from Basketball Feelings. Katie, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing even better with the news that Scottie Barnes and Jamal Shead are picking up the mantle.
Yes.
The beautiful mantle, ancient tradition of the theater.
Yes.
And are going to take part in the Nutcracker.
I
should say the big shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lowry and also Raptors legend Matt. Oh my God.
Matt Thomas. Come on, Katie. Matt Thomas.
I just gave Dylan for not. I was like, Raptors legend Matt Thomas. He's like, I don't remember this guy. And I just couldn't remember his last name. My apologies to Matt Thomas. He was actually great in that performance. And I think Scottie and Jamal will be too. Yeah, Sean, you should relink. You should find that performance on YouTube. I'll send it to you, and you should link it in the description.
I will do that. Yeah, perfect. I think you posted it on Blue Sky this morning. So
I did.
Give me that link because guess what? I watched it.
Kyle just keeps falling down and pretending to faint. It's great. and Matt Thomas just drags him around the stage. It's great.
One note performance, but hey, if you have a lot of juice behind that one note, it can really be memorable. Mm-hmm. Katie, the Toronto Raptors been anything but one note through the first 26 games of the NBA season. I got it back on the rails. I'm really good at this, Katie. 2001 episodes in. I've really fine-tuned this whole thing. We're going to get into the up and down nature of the first 26 games. We'll get into what we've learned about the team, look ahead to the next portion of the season, kind of leading in from now to the trade deadline. But Katie, I'm going to throw a question at you here. You're a wordsmith. If you could use one word to describe the first 26 games for the Toronto Raptors, what word comes to mind? I didn't tell you I was going to do this. I'm sorry I put you on the spot, but I know you can do it.
Yeah. Perhaps mercurial.
There we go. That's a good word. Yeah, better than the one I was going to use. We're just going to go with mercurial. Why do you got that?
What were you going to use?
I was just going to say jarring. Like it's been very just like snip, snap, back and forth. Everything's awful. Everything's great. Everything's awful again. And it's been hard to kind of find the balance within it all. But mercurial, did you go off on that?
Yeah, I guess I mean it more in the literal sense that this team has been quite hot and now seems to be having a little bit of a plummet.
Yeah.
Not in the moody sense, though there might be a little bit of that. But the dynamics seem to still be on track, even if the play has kind of fallen off a little bit. And I think mercurial in the sense that they are beholden to outside elements. Yeah. Maybe more than we would like them to be.
Yeah. Yeah. In what way? Like injury stuff?
Injury stuff, but that's, no team can escape that. Specifically, I think opponent-wise, right? And I know we're going to get into that cup game, the cup loss, but I think that was a very good example of how this team is still not quite able to control a game all the way through, right?
Yeah.
There are outside forces that can really pummel them, throw them off, discombobulate them, and wear them out.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has kind of been and look, I think there's been some retconning of what went right during the Raptors winning 13 of 14 game stretch.
Sure.
And I think, now that they've lost 6 of 7, I think anyone who came into the season on a sort of skeptical side of the spectrum is just going to use the last 6, 7 games as confirmation that, actually the 13 and 14 run was fake because they played bad teams. And hey, they did play a lot of bad teams, and they didn't blow all of them away. They blew some of them away, a lot of them away, and they won some games against good teams that they played in there as well. But yeah, they fattened up on an easy schedule and came across teams at sort of inopportune times, not dissimilar to the team the Knicks came across in the Cup game of the Raptors, missing 2 guys in their starting lineup and just kind of being at the end of this battering stretch where I don't think they were in their sort of best mode for that game either. This is the NBA schedule. You're going to have stretches where you get those schedule breaks and stretches where you don't. But I guess for me, Katie, I'm curious, does the order in which they've won and lost these games at all change sort of your vibe check feeling on this team? If they had just been a normal team that won 2, lost 1, won 3, lost 2, won 3, lost 1, and ended up 15 and 11, as opposed to this sort of extremes of losing 4 of 5, winning 13 of 14, losing 6 of 7, would you feel differently about this team right now than you do? And how much of the 13 of 14 stretch do you feel maybe is a schedule-induced mirage, and maybe this team is not exactly, sort of up to the level that it seemed like they were during that stretch?
I don't feel like that's ever a fair barometer of a team, because even a really good team is going to get a softer schedule. Every team goes through that in a season. And inevitably, one team will play better and will take advantage of a bit of a easier schedule, or should, right? I think it's always indicative when a team plays up. I think there were some games, I think of the Celtics game, was that last weekend or this
they're just blending together. Yeah, it was Sunday.
Jeez. Yeah, that was Sunday. We covered it on NBA TV. Wow. Yeah. So that game, the game both you and I were at, that Lakers game.
Yeah.
Where LeBron lost his record.
Man.
The Hornets games, maybe all of them, that team, you're just letting that team kind of beat up on you. I think those are games that they should have won and were within clear distance to win. But no, I don't think overall it changes what I had said at the beginning of the season, which is this is a team that's going to go through plateaus, right? Yeah. There are going to be natural plateaus in their play. I think this hot start, and whether they've been underrated by national attention, et cetera. I think they've been rated pretty much. Actually, I've seen media pay, I think, them the due attention that they should be getting. I think that it's fair. I don't think they're underrated right now. I don't think they're overrated. I just think this is a plateau that they have to get through. So they're not as bad of a team as they seem right now. And they weren't as good of a team as they perhaps seemed 2 weeks ago. They were good in that stretch. And I think that's what we're seeing in the East too, right? There's going to be a lot of jockeying. Yeah. I think for those maybe 2 and under, but certainly 3 and under spots. And I think that will change all throughout the season. A lot of teams are in similar situations to Toronto in that, they're going to have people come back. They're going to go on streaks. Something's going to click for them. It's not very clear, right, what the setup of the East is. And Toronto just has to make sure they take advantage of that and get hot kind of at the right times.
Yeah, definitely. And eventually they will have to start beating up on some good teams too, right? Because the schedule is not getting easier.
Of course. You got to play up. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. They have some real actual non-Pacers Nets opponents coming up in the next handful of weeks that are I think going to really test just sort of how real or not real their early stretch was. But to your point, I still maintain, I don't care who you are, you don't win 13 of 14 NBA games by accident. There's something there. It's not to say that they are a team that's going to have an 800 winning percentage all season long. It's not to say they were ever a contender to go win the Eastern Conference and make the finals. I don't think anyone who is sensible was saying that even in the midst of that stretch. But I also don't think, when I talk about retconning, I feel like, again, the last 6 or 7 games, just confirmation that, oh yeah, that was all fake. That was not real. But if you go and watch those games and revisit it, we talked about it, a couple weeks ago with Joe Wolfond, kind of digging into the process of the defense and how things had come along and the offense humming along at a top 5 clip. Like, the stuff they were doing in there, that was going to work against no matter who they were playing. Like, the process behind it was sound. And yeah, they're getting some Brandon Ingram shooting regression. They're getting a few things kind of crashing back to earth while also running into their first stretch of poor health that they've had all season. Obviously, the health was a huge part of their early start as well. But like, guys get back, guys get healthy, and yeah, guys will get hurt again. But to your point, I think this is just going to be the nature of being in the Eastern Conference all season long, and schedule factors are going to impact everybody's ability to climb or shoot down at various points. And I do think the next third of the season, which we'll talk about, I think a little bit later on, it's going to be pretty telling for just how real this team is and just how adaptable they are and how much they can kind of press back against the league kind of getting wise to them. We'll come back on the other side here, Katie, talk about what we've learned about some of the individual players on this team. And also, like, has our overall level of expectation for this team changed at all between the start of the season and now? We'll do that coming up in just 1 second. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams, it's bigger than ever. And let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part for most things, let alone the freaking World Cup. That's why Game Time is clutch. It's finally given fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of totally impossible. You just pull up the app, look at the layout. It's so simple to scroll through matchups and compare seat views. And if you've never been to these stadiums before, those seat views are great. I have been saved many times by going to old baseball stadiums, buying tickets with Game Time and seeing, oh, I don't want to buy a ticket there because there's a gigantic pillar from the 1910s blocking the view. Don't get blocked by a 1910s pillar. Use Game Time, get those seat views, and get the tickets you want. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets, and of course, tickets to everything, concerts, theater shows, whatever it is with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. It is Game Time. Today's show is also brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems, and this is the time where a lot of us look to the messier parts of running a business and think there's got to be a better way, and there is. Today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. If you're ready to make your workday smoother, keep customers connected without the headaches, Quo makes upgrading your setup easier than ever. It's a streamlined system that makes such a big difference when communicating with customers. You're able to share one team number that makes it so much easier to make sure nothing gets missed between you and everyone else in your team. It's surprisingly easy. You can work from home or your phone or your computer, keep your existing number, and add teammates in minutes. Make this year the year where you miss no opportunities and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Back at it here with Katie Heindl, talking about your Toronto Raptors, who are strange and had a very weird first 26 games, and they're kind of recalibrating now before the next slate of games begins on Monday against the Miami Heat. Just so happy for these guys to get some nap time, Katie. Let's kind of continue the thread that we were getting into before. We got some individual guys and stuff we've maybe learned about them so far throughout the year, but I do want to ask you, coming into the season, I can't quite remember exactly where you were in terms of optimism levels. I was like, 45 wins, probably where they're at. Pretty good team. Nice step forward, something to build upon. Curious if you have had your opinion at all changed about this team through the first 26 games. Where it was October the 15th before games started to where it is now. Maybe there have been some ups and downs in the sort of intervening period, but have you come out feeling basically the same as you did before the season? Better, worse? Has your overall feeling on the sort of capability of this team been altered whatsoever during this very mercurial first 26 games. That's a word I can barely say with my dumb mouth, but I'm going to get it out. Damn it. Katie, answer my question.
I feel better about them, I think, than I did to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I had a bad feeling or foreboding feeling, but my general sense was that they'd wind up at the play-in. Sure. I think now they look like a playoff team to me, and they did pretty quickly. Once that defense, what was interesting was watching them figure out their offensive engine first, and then the defense snapped into place behind it. Mm-hmm. I think that balance was going to be essential. I think that we knew that they had enough offensive power to kind of drive them through some wins, as long as they, I think they tried to do this in that Knicks game, like get out ahead and stay out ahead early. It didn't work. Got out ahead in one quarter, and then everything kind of fell apart. So I think you see the limits of that. So I think where the defense is right now is impressive to me. It wasn't something that I anticipated. I think that's even something you and I talked about, because it had for so long been this calling card of the Toronto Raptors organization, right? Of like really tough, hard-nosed defense, this kind of legacy defense. Yeah. And that really wasn't there anymore because styles had changed. Yeah. And we hadn't seen it come back in the sense of what it would look like for this iteration of the team. And it has now. Yeah.
I think, I don't know if my win projection has changed all that much from the start of the season. Like, if you told me they went 15-11 in their next 26 games and then 15-11 in the 26 games after that, and then I don't know how many games left over for 82, but that feels like relatively close to a 45 game sort of pace. That's kind of where I'd be at. I think all told, though, I do feel better about the sort of bones of the team that I did coming in. We'll get into some individual guys in more depth, but Scottie Barnes, I think playing the way he has been the single most important development of the year. He is in year one of a 5-year, 25% max contract, and he's playing like this. Whatever the problems were, whatever the concerns were, the obstacles to building a team around him going forward, they feel a little less problematic now than they did a couple months ago when we were watching him play in the preseason and going, this looks not so good. Of course, reacting to the preseason. Hopefully this is the final straw for reacting to anything that happens in the preseason, for the love of God. But I digress. I just think that the Scottie element, the RJ Barrett just kind of seamlessly fitting in to what they're doing offensively thing. Brandon Ingram, I don't think Brandon Ingram is necessarily a savior of the franchise or anything like that, but I think he's very obviously a guy who they're better off having than not having. And that's something you can build on going forward. I think there's just such this urge from the fan base, and maybe this is just how sports are engaged with now. And actually, I think this is not totally separate from the guest piece at Basketball Feelings that our pal Nada wrote yesterday, just about the sort of missing of small joys within the season and everything having such immense stakes and everything being about the final goal. I don't think this team is necessarily about the final goal right now. They're still building. They're still figuring out what works and what doesn't, figuring out who the guys who are going to be, who in theory they attain that final goal with. But I think all told, I feel a lot better about the position they're in with the players they have and the sort of contracts they're occupying, because we have to think about contracts all the time, because Adam Silver is cool. We like him. He's awesome. It's a very fun system we have. I just feel better about the overall sort of direction, even if it's not a direction that's going to end in an Eastern Conference championship this season. I don't know. Any thoughts you wanted to add on top of that before we talk about some individual guys?
Well, just quickly on the point of the piece that Nada wrote for Basketball Feelings, I saw a post this morning where somebody was lamenting that OKC may be a perfect basketball team, but they're not aesthetically exciting.
I mean, it's true. They're just kind of
no, it's not
incredible.
True. It's actually not true. I found the Celtics team more of a mechanized, the Celtics team that won the title. I find that OKC is kind of thrilling to watch, especially given the fact that they've gone through so many different lineups. This is not an OKC podcast, but anyway, that point in particular, it's just goes to show it's what do you want? this composite of average fan, and like this happens to Raptors fans too. It's like, what do you want? You kind of hit the thing that you wanted, and then it's not quite how you pictured it feeling or being or looking. And again, like you make a great point, just like this team it's not finished product. It's what's going to happen. I also don't think this team should make the Eastern Conference Finals because they're just going to get walloped if they do. And I think I like the slow build. Like I want them in the postseason, and I think they will get there.
Important, yeah.
But I think then that will be a great test of their ability.
Yeah. Right.
And like that's what that is for. Unfortunately, that's a test. I don't think that's for them like hitting another echelon of ability within this season.
Yeah. I mean, Katie, this is a fan base that I think better than anybody else should understand the value of the slow build and the value of making the playoffs and getting your ass beat and sort of adapting from that. And I just feel like, and maybe I'm just like too online or whatever, or maybe just the way fandom has shifted, where it's just like this need for immediacy. Well, this isn't the thing that's going to win the championship. Get rid of it. And it's just like, that you can't live that way, man. And
I mean, there's always blow it up. I think like there's facets of both, right? There's
different facets. There was Kevin O'Connor blow it up pieces in 2016 about the Raptors.
Sure. And there's facets of Toronto fans that have like lived through all those different long, slow builds and have some kind of like baked in patience for this part of the process. Yeah. And there's fans that haven't, that have come on post title, you know, and that's fine. It does take all kinds, but unfortunately, I am again going to point to OKC as a team that did not try and emulate any other team around the league for years, much to your chagrin. You hated the way that they built that team.
Yeah, it sucked. They nuked a really fun, cool team to lose on purpose for 2 years. I mean, they didn't have to because they had all the picks anyway. But
but now they have picks unto infinity, you know. Yeah, it's cool. And they look like they're going to win for seasons to come.
Yeah,
I think that's a very interesting way to have a slow build, even if it's not what you like. They never rushed themselves or like accelerated prematurely because of league pressures to play or be or look a certain way.
Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting because I detest the Thunder and Sam Presti's glasses very deeply, but I also think it's good that they exist, and I think the league is going to be better for having this big bad who feels insurmountable right now. But we know these things are never forever. We're totally off on a different part of the conversation, but that's fine. You know, this is the Thursday vibe check on the 2nd of 5 off days. We're hanging out. I just like it's a good thing that this team exists. I don't know if their build is emulatable by anybody because it kind of was started by getting a crazy windfall from the Clippers that I don't know what anyone else is going to get because of the time and space in which that took place. But yeah, the fact that they exist, I do think it's interesting because I think it's kind of to go back to the conversation of where the Raptors are at and the sort of fan base tension it feels like when they lose 6 of 7. I feel like everyone's kind of measuring themselves against the Thunder at all times, and maybe that's not the thing to do. Maybe you just kind of like, there are some teams that certainly I think are in a position where it's like, yeah, you should load up to try to go take the shot now because that's what you do when you're really, really, really good. I don't think the Raptors are quite there. And I don't think it's like a problem that the Raptors aren't quite there, right? Like you can exist in a league as a 46-win team that's noble and fun and interesting and not have it be a sort of degradation of your character that you are not the Oklahoma City Thunder, that you have no shot at beating them. And I think, you know, we kind of get so caught up in we got to be the best. And it's just like, no, you can just be pretty good and kind of build from there. I don't know where we started this, but we are here now. We'll come back into the side here, Katie. We're going to talk about some individual guys on the team, stuff we feel like we've learned. We'll close things out with that coming up in just 1 second. Today's show is brought to you by ZocDoc. It's 2025, almost 2026, and those days of waiting for something to be a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, they're over. No more walking it off for 6 months. No more pretending that weird shoulder stiffness is just sleeping wrong. It's time to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc makes that easier than ever because staying healthy is more than hitting the gym or eating right. It's about actually getting things checked out when something feels off. Using ZocDoc makes scheduling easier. You can search for in-network doctors and book right in the app. Real appointment times times are listed, including same day visits as well. And they can let you compare providers and use real patient reviews, not ads. It's a big deal, taking care of your health, making sure that you are in fine shape for whatever life has to throw at you. And seeing the doctor is really just a bit of maintenance for all of that, same as going to the gym or eating right. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedInNBA to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/LockedInNBA, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Today's show is also brought to you by Doer. They make the pants that are great. It's the holidays too. And so if you have people in your life who like great pants, you can buy them great pants at Doer. I love the Doer jeans they sent me. I've talked about them before. I have the fleece-lined black taper jeans. I have a nice t-shirt from them as well. Fits very nicely. As someone who has gained the recent Dad 20, having a nice fitting shirt that's flattering, it's a lovely thing. It's one of my favorite shirts in the wardrobe at the moment. And yeah, they have just simply invented the best denim you're ever going to wear. It's the original performance denim. It blends the best of both worlds, classic jeanswear style with the kind of comfort and performance you expect from athletic wear. And it's time for you to go and experience the comfort of Doer for yourself. I love mine. I bet you'll love them too. Pick up a pair for yourself or it is an amazing holiday gift by going to the store at 44 Ossington Avenue in Toronto. Go check it out. You can also mention the promo code LockedOnToronto in store to get 15% off your first purchase, or you can check them out online at doer.ca/LockedOnToronto for 15% off. That's DUER.ca/LockedOnToronto. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Go get yourself some pants. Wrapping things up here on a meandering vibe check episode about your Toronto Raptors, a perfect way to, just get our way through this little break in the Toronto Raptors season. Katie Heindl is here, of course. Individual players, Katie, we mentioned briefly Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram. Let me ask you, is there a player this season who you feel like you have learned something about that you did not know before? Is there a player who you feel like your sort of opinion of has drastically changed over the course of the first 26 games? If so, who is that and what have you learned?
RJ Barrett.
Yeah, he's the one.
Yeah. That he, for good or for ill, takes, I think, criticism and maybe detraction in this case. If not to heart, then to his brain, and understands the way to work against that. I think he put in a lot of work in the off season. I also think there was something really unlocked in him by the way that, we talk a lot about how Brandon Ingram has freed up Scottie.
Yeah.
But I think Ingram, to a lesser degree, when everything snaps into place for him, I think it's been really interesting to see RJ Barrett thrive between those three. I mean, he is this trifecta, right? We're going to talk about like Scottie, Brandon Ingram, and RJ Barrett. That's something that it seemed like almost, I don't know why it was, but it seemed like it was preordained that he would be pushed out. Right, he would be pushed out of this season, or the
team itself kind of was telegraphed.
Yeah, true.
That was their intent, right? Like, I don't think it was crazy. There were rumors that they were going to trade him and all of that. So.
I mean, there still are. I read an Anthony Davis trade report this morning. Unfortunately, don't do it. Don't do it, everybody. It's not worth your time. But yeah, I think that's been a great surprise to me. It's also been a joy to watch him become so necessary. Eric Corrine wrote about this after that loss, but it's like he said, no shade to RJ Barrett, but RJ Barrett shouldn't be this important to the Raptors in terms of how they function without him. Because of course they should still be a functional team, and when he's back, that's great. But I think he's actually like, in being so good and maybe transcendental from what we expected, he's pointed out lacks in the team that we didn't even see at the start of the season. So that's been very interesting.
Yeah, like I think there was always the possibility that, and we talked about this in the offseason plenty of, maybe the fit's not super obvious because of the lack of dead-eye three-point shooting or whatever, but like there was some proof of concept in the portion of the season after the trade where you kind of trim down his on-ball duties, you sort of turn him into this sort of gap filler extraordinaire. He's just like the flex seal who just kind of plugs all the holes in the offense and is just like there to thrive off of the attention others create. and you bring down his touch time, you give him space to live at the rim, and he can get back to the levels of efficiency he found during that back part of the season. And it's just kind of worked exactly like that so far this year. And yeah, the word I've used a lot to sort of talk about the offensive struggle since he went out is just kind of like equilibrium. And it's just very off when RJ's not there on the second side to kind of give that punch, the sort of side to side action that this team really thrives off when it's cooking. It's just not there in the same way when you have Jacoby Walter or Grady Dick or whomever filling in those spots. And it's nothing against those guys. It's just a credit to, wow, RJ Barrett's gotten really good at that stuff. And he is pretty essential. And I, not to sound like a broken record, but this is a team that is designed to be greater than the sum of its parts. You need the parts to achieve that, and to be missing such a huge one, it's difficult to fill that in, because there's not just a sort of immense singular talent who can go and do that. Ingram can do it some nights where it's just like, okay, I'm just going to go score 35 now and kind of carry the day, but that's asking a lot. And eventually he's going to see intense defensive pressure, and he's going to have to make decisions off of that. And that's been an inconsistent thing for him. RJ just makes all those decisions so much easier. He makes the flow of the offense, the side-to-side action, that much easier to get into. And yeah, like, I'll eat plenty of crow on not thinking RJ was a particularly effective or winning basketball player. And he's been everything for this offense so far this year, to just kind of give it all its status. Again, I don't think he's not the best offensive player on the team. I think he's probably the third or fourth best offensive player on the team in terms of just like pure skill. But what he does is so necessary to kind of get the best of everybody that he is incredibly important. And that's, I think, been the clearest early season takeaway from any one player. Obviously Scottie taking the leap too has been a really fun and fascinating thing to watch, and very exciting. And I think we all kind of knew it was in him though a little bit. I don't know. What have your sort of impressions of Scottie been so far this year, Katie? Have you learned anything about him?
I think Scottie, a lot like Brendan Ingram or like Jamal Shead, I think these are expectations that I had pretty clearly for these people at the start of the season, that they were going to take big jumps. In some cases, for an Ingram, that's just like the jump is coming back. But he has also made a jump. He has also made quite literal jumps, and talked about how he doesn't know the last time he jumped that high. Right. With Scottie, I'm always pretty pleased to see the development, because I think I have been critical in terms of his leadership, for one. Sure. His ability to navigate the ups and downs of a season, or sometimes even in the flow of a game. I think that maturation has been something that stood out a lot to me. Again, I wouldn't say I didn't think it was going to come eventually, right? But I think it's come at a great time. It's come at a very complimentary time to the way that he's playing basketball. Yeah. Everyone else is about, not to be like I saw it all coming, but I think everyone else has made the jumps or impressions that I thought they were going to. The only person I'm still a bit of a question mark about where I did think they should be is Grady Dick. And that could also just be a little later in coming, because to go back to my earliest point, and I think the drum I've been banging on all season so far, is that, in a season of plateaus, they're not all going to align, right? They're not all going to sync up. Yeah.
And if you look at any mountain range, not every plateau is followed by another strict climb up. Like, sometimes there's a little canyon that Gollum's going to fall into.
There's going to be a dip.
Not to invoke Gollum with Grady Dick in the same sentence, but I don't know. Maybe it works.
Just need to see a lot more from him, I think, given the totally. Competitive expectation of his peers on this team.
Yeah.
Like, you're expected to make a jump.
Yeah. And if you remember, spoiler alert for Return of the King, Gollum falls down in the crevice, and then eventually he's right back up there on the mountain.
He's out there being a creep before analogy. You know it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is Grady Dick flexing in every photo of the wins the Gollum of the Toronto Raptors? Who's to say? No, it's not. We are to say. Weird episode, Katie.
It's okay. It shows that we've all got Lord of the. I haven't watched them yet this holiday season, but I'm going to. We've all got it on the brain.
Yeah. I bought myself the extended editions when they were on
you're
sale.
A sicko. You are an absolute sicko.
You don't like the extended editions?
No, dude.
What?
They're already long enough.
Oh, but all of them are so good. All the
Uh-uh.
scenes are just
No.
You get the Saruman death scene, which is fantastic. You get oh yeah.
You know what I don't ever need any more of in my life? Samwise Gamgee. You can go to hell. You can go to hell.
Oh yeah. There are like 3 Sam monologues added
Mr.
to the extended
Frodo?
editions, but
Save me, spare me.
who is the Samwise Gamgee of the Toronto Raptors? Maybe we save this for a full holiday themed episode of the podcast.
That's worse than Gollum. So nobody, I hope. Gollum, you could at least have like Gollum's like the Pat Spencer, you know, like he's kind of like it's a bit of a disturber, and he is kind of like directing things, right? But
yeah,
like a petulant little. Oh, I hate Samwise Gamgee.
But he's so essential to the completion of the quest. Frodo, just like that guy bows out early, if not.
Yeah, Frodo kind of sucks too. Frodo low-key sucks. I think everybody knows
Frodo
that.
does low-key suck.
Yeah.
I mean, to get it, it's really hard. The weight of the journey and all that stuff. Get it together, man. Stop falling down so much.
Yeah, stop falling down. Stop falling down.
Weird episode, Katie.
We could do another one next week, closer to the holidays. We can just
we might have
full
to do
Lord of the Rings assignments.
I think we've planned a future Thursday episode with Katie. We're gonna leave it there. Thanks so much, Katie, for hanging. Thanks for rocking with the show, all the listeners out there. Katie, anything you want to promote for the good people out there?
Basketball feelings. You did already, but yeah, our friend Kanata Edwards wrote a great guest piece this week about where's all the joy and the whimsy gone, and can we have it both ways in the NBA?
Yeah, when whimsy's good, and having fun with low stakes it's kind of why I love the NBA Cup. It's fun with low stakes. Where are we? Check out the pod. Goodbye. Oh yeah, you can subscribe for the ad-free version of the show over at the link in the description of the podcast. Locked on Raptors.supercast.com if you want to go do that. You get ad-free all week long, and it's a lovely thing. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the year. You can gift a subscription as well, which is a nice thing to do. Also, that is going to do it for this podcast, whatever that was. And we'll be back again on Friday. Joe Wolfon's going to be along to try to diagnose what the hell is going on with the team lately and do a little trade season preview, as it's December 15th on Monday. We're getting very close to that special date where everyone says the trades will start happening now, and then they don't start happening for another month and a half. But it's fun anyway. Thanks so much. Talk to you then. I lost my basket. I literally can't find my basketball, so I've been using this mic sock as my shooting thing at the end of the show. So here we go. Thanks for hanging. Bye-bye.